Oh my gosh. Let's do this.
Good. Good morning.
Today I put cinnamon in my coffee.
Me too. I think it starts to feel like fall in California.
You know what inspired me? I used the same spoon as you, and when I licked it, I tasted cinnamon, and I was like, great idea, Sarit.
Yeah. I don't know if it ever happened to you, but like, who in here is an avid coffee drinker? Drop us a coffee emoji if you are. But you know what? Recently, like, I love drinking coffee, but recently, drinking coffee just, I don't know, like, I've had only like one mug a day, which is not very typical of me. Normally I have to, like, I don't really feel like having a second one. It's like my palate is not tolerating the coffee as well. So today I added extra stevia and some cinnamon. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll make it taste better. 2 stevias is way too much for me, but the cinnamon was clutch. So I think I'm going to go another mug today, and I'm going to go 1.5 stevia, cinnamon. And hopefully it'll be good.
Who's tired today?
Are you tired
I'm a
today?
little tired today.
Well, you better bring it, because we got a powerful, powerful conversation.
I always bring it.
Let's say good morning to our coffee drinker. Coffee drinkers. Even if you're not a coffee drinker, we will say good morning.
You're here watching espresso, so you're some kind of coffee something.
Good morning, Heather, Jeanette, Lauren, Brogan,
Tiffany, Heather, Jerry, keep up. Stacy, Bethany, June Ellen, Stephanie,
Okay, wait.
Kristen.
Bethany Bledsoe. I'm not very familiar with that name, so
Hi,
it sounds like
Bethany.
you're new. Drop a comment. Tell us where you're from, Bethany.
Welcome to the live.
Welcome. Stephanie,
It's so far
Kristen.
behind. Ronnie, Jessica, Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're scrolling.
Josie.
Keep scrolling. They're saying hi. Good morning.
Chrissy.
Good morning. Coffee. 2 cups.
Laura Boyd. Okay.
Oh, Laura's in the
It's
house.
been a minute.
Andy's in the house. Lisa's in the
Lisa,
house.
Andy. Okay, guys, good morning. So today's a relationship conversation, and we're going to talk to you about the most important relationship that you will ever have.
With myself. Oh, we just gave the answer away right off the bat.
Yeah, well, it's the truth, you guys. So here's the thing, and
So let's have a coffee conversation.
I don't know about you,
it.
Erin. I used to be victim of it in the past. I know a lot of people who are victims to it, who just literally bounce from one relationship to the next, and they're like, I don't understand why, you know, everybody's able to find happiness, and this is exactly what they say. I don't understand how everybody finds happiness. Meanwhile, I've dated so many people, I've put myself out there, and for some reason, like, I still haven't found the one. Does that sound familiar? So here's the problem with that, is that you're focusing on the wrong thing.
I would like to hear or see. I would like to read. I would like to hear with my eyes from your comments who is in. Okay. Comment 1, the number 1, if you are in a very genuinely sincere, long-term happy relationship.
Yes.
Comment a 2 if you are in a relationship, but it is not the former description. And a 3 if you are not in a relationship. So, the first time when you're young, you don't date. When we talk about dating, like you date, you go out, you do things, you date, right? When I was in middle school is when I had my first, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know what the label is, but we called it going out. It was right. It was like, will you go out with me? And then that meant you were a thing. Like you were a pair. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that meant that you were a boyfriend, girlfriend, or girlfriend, girlfriend, or boyfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, but an item together. And the first time I had anybody, his name was Abraham. His name was Abraham, and I was in like 7th grade or 8th grade.
You never tell me about Abraham.
Well, I don't ever think about him. So this was like, so what I think about is ever since then I try to ask myself what like romantic style of relationships have I been in or pursued or been involved with or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's the first like memorable one, I guess. And I remember like it was amazing. We would hold hands in the hallway, but then we would get in trouble because we weren't supposed to do that. Anyways, it's just that feeling that you get when it seems like somebody else cares so much about you on a deeper level than just your friends. As a young person. Mm-hmm. And then, that's the feeling you're seeking is importance, right? It's validating. So regardless of who it is, if they seem to care about you on that deep of a level, it's meaningful. And that's what you seek. Now, there's a lot of people who get caught in the trap of continuously just seeking that. And will stay in broken relationships for the good times.
Oh my God.
I know so many people that go back and forth. Oh, we were off and on if you're off and on at all, it's probably not going to work. Mm-hmm. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. And change within an entity, a single person, takes time. And so I remember, I don't think I ever went back and forth in relationships because I've always just kind of been like, if this doesn't work, I just don't care. But I think it comes out of desperation for feelings of validation from a partner. Mm-hmm. And what happens is we don't learn who we are. We're constantly seeking to be validated by somebody else from a young age, and then don't know how to find that validation within ourselves. So there becomes then a lack of belief that we are worthy or that we are worth. So we have to feel that worth from the love or what seems to be like care from somebody else, even if that person mistreats us. Because once it's good, we forget about the bad. And then we don't weigh them. So, I know people who still are in relationships that are not good for them. Doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean it's abusive, doesn't mean that they're being mistreated or anything like that, but they're being held back. But they feel stuck because when you try to disengage from a relationship, it's either two things. It's you don't want to disengage from the good feelings that you have when things are good with that person, or you don't want to hurt that person's feelings by stepping back. And the longer you go in a relationship like that, the more difficult it becomes to detach.
And both scenarios hurt you as well. Both scenarios hurt you because both scenarios are holding you back, right? Let's say if 5% of your relationship it's like, oh my gosh, I hear this all the time, especially with with the goddamn lesbians, and I love y'all, but I
She
mean,
said the GD.
as a community, we need to get our shit together. Like, how many girls do you know who are like, when things are good, they're really good, but when things are bad, they're really bad. So I'm like, do you want to live like 10% of your life really good and 90% of your life shitty? Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's being in jail.
It's
right?
serious. You're prison.
And if you are in this position right now, staying in a situation when 90% of the time you're miserable because the times in which you make up or whatever are either really hot or really fun, or when you go on vacation things are great, but like when you get back to life,
when you're not in real life, things are great.
Like things are like sub-average, maybe even shitty, then you are wasting so much time and energy, you know, because ultimately there is a person for everybody. There truly is. There truly is. And I believe in it 100% because I know that Erin is my person on such a deep level. We talked about the 4 levels of relationship. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But if you stick in something that's decent, right, you never end up making the sacrifices or doing whatever it takes to make room for the best thing ever. So yes, maybe you're not single, right? Some people have a hard time being single. I really don't understand that. So it's like they jump from one relationship to the next. I'm like, no wonder you're unhappy. You're unhappy because you're seeking what you can get from somebody else instead of who you need to be for the right person. Okay, I'm going to repeat this. You need to focus on who you need to be for that right person. Only when you're able to show your true colors to the right person without holding anything back, from day one, then you're on the right path. But how many people do you guys know who keep holding things back? Oh, I don't know how they'll respond to this. Guess what? If you're unsure, then it probably means that it needs work. Right? But it's the concept of short-term, like, it's the mindset of, I'm scared to be uncomfortable because I don't know if I will ever meet the right person or if somebody else will be better than them. My gosh.
Yeah.
So many women fall for that shit.
And there's to go back just a second, there's 2 reasons why you wouldn't share something that is on your mind or your heart with a significant other, and that's, again, because of what you believe the response will be in a negative context. Actually, it kind of goes together, because also you maybe fear their response, right? You make up how they're going to respond, and then you don't want to do that. You don't want to hurt their feelings, or you don't want to seem like a bad person, or you don't want to seem needy, or you don't want to seem. But the most important thing that you can do is communicate. Now, not wait. Whenever I feel something that doesn't feel right, immediately I have to say something, and all of that comes from being truly, authentically you. Here's the thing. If you are yourself, 100% unapologetically you, and that's not accepted by the person who is the closest to you romantically, that's not the right person for you. And you're not the right person for them. Mm-hmm. So many times, even subconsciously, we pretend to be someone or something we're not because we want to please, we want to impress, we want to show all the good sides. But eventually, you will be you. And if you feel like you can't be you, then you are in prison.
Yep.
And you will never be happy in that relationship. You will get resentful, but most likely you're not saying what your needs are, so it's only your fault. And what was the other thing I was going to say? I don't remember. I lost my train of thought. It seemed, I looked back at what you guys said. There's a lot of ones, which makes me really freaking happy.
Yep.
I want you to, and then there's some threes. I saw a couple of twos, which is great. Like, we don't want people to be in unhappy relationships. It does happen. But there can be points in your relationship in which you struggle as well, which is normal because no relationship is perfect. When you bring two people who are different together, there will be differences. There will be disagreements,
Amen.
right? There will be miscommunication. There will be misunderstandings. But if you talk, you can resolve. And if you talk from humility and from ownership, it will guarantee be resolved in a civil manner.
That is a very good point that you're bringing up. Relationship of any kind, always, the foundation is communication. Now, here's the thing. And everything that we're saying is from past experiences and from what we see that's going on. So many people, I find that in relationships, they lack communication, and that is like the biggest problem. It's like I don't want to tell her that, she's a little bit overweight, or I don't want to hurt her feelings by saying whatever. So you end up feeling unsatisfied, or like something is missing, or if they did something that, was not in alignment with what you are, you're like, I'm just going to keep it in and hopefully they will learn next time, like thinking as if they're going to read your mind. I feel like women could be, like they have that sixth sense. Men for sure know. So, if you're married to a dude or you're straight, like thinking that using your body language to explain how you feel will make them read you. To be honest, and please don't call me racist for that, but this is me being real. Unless they're Hispanic, Arab, or blacks, those people are emotionally intelligent. White dudes, from my own experience, they don't understand like female tonality for shit.
It's true.
It's true.
That's because
they got soul.
There's soul, and there's community, and there's heart.
Yep.
A lot of, like, if you're American, I'm American, like straight up fucking white girl.
You're a very unique white girl.
And there are a lot of Americans. I think just it's the environment that you grow up in, right? Like we are privileged. We truly are privileged. Mm-hmm. And every person, if you live in America, you have some kind of a privilege simply to be in America.
Yeah.
If you were born in America and you are an American citizen, you are uber fucking privileged. And that's not a bad thing because you can use your privilege for good shit, right? Like I have the opportunity to keep Sarit in this country because I'm an American and she is my property. You cannot take her from me, right? So there's good in that, but I think that because we don't see so much of the outside world, because America is massive, so you can travel hours and hours without leaving the country, and so we become sheltered and don't see what happens in other parts of the world. So we're very naive to how to read people, especially cultural, like very deep culture communities. Yeah? So what?
I want to point out something. It's like we started talking about the dudes and the dudes are just popping in here and I'm loving it. I was giving you guys a huge shout out, but the reason why I think it happens is because I think that they're very close to their moms. Like they have a very deep relationship with their moms, and you know, normally because of the it's very unfortunate with what's going on in the country, but you know, because of the social status, their moms also go through some shit, and like they really help to pick them up. And I'm saying it from full life experience because I did live with a Colombian dude and his mom for 2 years, and it was an amazing experience. He was like the most beautiful son I've ever seen. But they go through adversities that, you know what, like most white people don't go through.
It brings them closer together.
And it brings them closer together. And because of all these difficulties and like seeing their mom go through stuff, I think they learn to understand body language on a way deeper level that most people, especially men, are just they can't comprehend. I think it's due to that exposure. And I'm really not saying this to generalize or to bring anybody down. Like I said,
it's not meant to say you're a bad person.
Right. Everything that we say is truthfully from our own life experience. And you know what? Like we don't have to be right all the time. And I don't say that I'm right. It's just this is what I've seen and this is what I've experienced.
We don't have expert relationship certifications.
No, we don't.
But
we have period.
But there wouldn't be 37 people watching if they didn't want to hear what we had to say about it. So there's that.
So how do you know when you're ready for the right one?
Ooh. When you don't give a shit anymore. Mm-hmm. That is what I would say is the bottom line.
Yeah.
When you don't care anymore. People are like, oh, I don't, just waiting for the right one, or want to find the right one, or I'm looking for the right one, or, you know, all the good ones are taken, or, you know, all these different sayings that we have. Like, stop looking. Don't search. You know when you're looking for your car keys and they're in your fucking hand? And you're like, like stop looking. Because stop looking externally and start looking internally. Because when you are 100% good with you, I would say 99%, because we're all trying to be better all the time.
Yeah.
But when you are so good with you that you would be fine being alone for the rest of your life. I got to that point. I was like, I would actually be okay being single for the rest of my life. And that is when I knew somebody else could come in. But I don't care. They could or they could not. And guess what? I'm going to be fine. Aside from, independent of somebody else. Because if you're not in that position, what happens is when you get in a relationship, you become dependent or codependent.
Oh, we see that way too fucking often.
I just touched the tips. So, you know that you're ready when you don't care anymore.
Yeah, I want to add a couple of things. Like actual systematic ways in order for you to measure it, right? So here's why we always say that all these topics are completely intertwined, right? The truth is that if you're not happy about yourself, right, or you don't know how to love yourself, you're actually limiting your ability to love someone else. That's just a matter of fact. And I think that's why so many marriages end up either not struggling or just ending because struggling because people jump into relationships before having learned how to take care of themselves. And everything in life, right, when you add more people or more things, magnifies, right? So if you went into a relationship not knowing how to take care of yourself, guess what? You don't know how to take care of your significant other. When kids come around, you don't know how to take care of them either. And that is why For example, if there are overweight kids in the family, there's only one person to blame, and it's the parents. Because fully healthy parents will very rarely have overweight kids. There are exceptions. There always will be, but how you manage yourself is going to dictate how you manage others.
And I would say kids, but I would say kids like under a certain age, because
Well, of course.
yeah, because there's kids who are still considered dependent, but because they have more understanding on the fact that they can make choices, they can choose to behave or hang out with or eat certain things or whatever. So at that point, it becomes, how well did you do in the beginning of their years, teaching them values,
Yeah.
teaching them what healthy means, teaching them what respect means, teaching them what how to do life the best that they can. Now, of course, like, okay, when you get into high school, like, or when kids get into high school, and I'm saying this from my own point of view, as a high schooler, my parents didn't have as much control over me.
Right.
I didn't have to tell them what I was really doing if I knew how to hide it. So it's kids too go through this phase of like testing the waters.
Yep.
Right? And maybe that's just me. Maybe I hope that I parent well enough that like my kids want to hang out with the best people. But the truth is that when you're in high school and you're exposed to all these different people who have different backgrounds, different parents, different values, different upbringings, they've seen different things, and you start hanging out or you interact with them or you connect with them, and then they encourage you to do something that's outside of, what you've been taught or what you've been, how you've been brought up, but you choose to do it anyways. It's like, as a parent, what can you really do? So it's kind of like very, very much a gray area at that point. And this is not parenting. I cannot even parent. I am not one, so I cannot tell you how to do it. I cannot tell anybody how to do it or how it goes. I'm just speaking from my own experience as a kid. And that's only one circumstance. I only have one set of parents, so, biologically, I have like 9.
You're so sidetracked right now.
I am. I know. Where are we at?
So
Where are we at, guys?
So how do you know when you're ready for the right one? So look, the first question that you have to ask yourself, and it's a yes or no question, is, am I in love with myself? And if you the way for you to answer it, if you're like, man, Suri, you're asking me a really deep question, I don't know, because I get that all the time, right? Like, I would tell you to take it further and ask yourself, what are the top 3 words that you use to describe yourself? And I guarantee you that 99% of people hate themselves, and that's where the problem begins, is that you're not in love with yourself. Okay, so then the next question that you need to ask yourself is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you in your own skin? Look, if you're not comfortable in your own skin, and I'm not even saying confident AF, like, how comfortable are you in your own skin? If you're not comfortable in your own skin and you're bringing another unit to experience your skin, it's only going to make you more uncomfortable.
What does it mean to be comfortable in your skin?
When you're naked, when you're standing in front of the mirror. Right? Like, how comfortable are you?
I'm thinking also, in addition to that, too, is like, not just in your skin, but in your person, meaning how authentically can you be you? Like,
well,
actually...
there's a couple more questions, but...
Okay, never mind. I have to say, I have to read Lisa's comment because it's amazing. Her mom always said that 2 halves don't make a whole in a relationship. 2 whole people do. That's awesome.
Yes!
Good job,
Yes,
Mom.
yes. Oprah
Lisa, tell your mom we said hi. That's
Oprah
amazing.
said it too. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you in your own skin? Right? Here's the thing. We are all on, especially if you're watching this show, then you're on a quest to making yourself better. Now, you don't have to be at the best state ever, right? Like, you don't have to be at a 10, but you have to be at least at an 8. Because here's the thing, sex is not the foundation to a relationship, but sex is the spice to a relationship. 100%. And if you're not comfortable in your own skin, there's no way in hell that you're going to be able to intimately connect on a deeper level, okay, with somebody that you care for. And there's a huge difference between having sex with somebody and making love with them. 100%. Okay, so there's no way in hell that you'll be able to have a deeper connection with somebody if you're not comfortable in your own skin. Okay?
Amen, amen. Somebody said we should write a book. Funny you say that. Okay, go on.
And then the other one is, how comfortable are you with yourself as a person? Like, do you respect yourself in a way where you're confident, right? Just basically based on how you operate, how you treat yourself, right? Something that we always say is confidence is something that's earned. Self-love is something that's earned too. You don't love yourself by treating your body and your brain and your life like a piece of garbage. And that's why all of these things are super intertwined. Have you ever noticed that the happiest couples are normally never really overweight? No, I'm not saying that you have to be uber healthy. Like, yes, you can eat donuts on a regular basis if that is something that you're super passionate about. But when you don't treat yourself right as a unit, when you don't give your body what it needs and your life what it needs to perform and be your best self, then you can't be in love with yourself, right? And then the other question that you have to ask yourself is, are you working on yourself? Because here's the thing, if you're not learning, you're growing. And this doesn't have to do with weight.
Wait, if you're not learning, you're growing?
Sorry, if you're not learning, you're dying. Or if you're not learning, you're not growing. The problem with most people is that, we're kids. Society tells us to go to school, right? So we go to school from the age of whatever to the age of 18. That's mandatory. Some people go to college, right? So that, let's say they graduate at 21, 22.
But most are encouraged to go to college.
Most are encouraged, right? Now here's the thing. School has nothing to do with your self-development. But the problem is that the minute that most people get out of school, they stop learning. It's like I graduated from school. Okay, whatever.
I'm done learning.
For one, school could teach you a lot about yourself if you let it and if you're in tune. But I believe that most people don't learn about themselves through school.
Well, at that age, you're not developed to the point where you are like intuitively understanding of what's going on within you. Right? There's so many other things happening that we don't ever think. I know myself, like I never was like, oh, why do I feel this way? Yeah. Oh, like questions I ask myself now. But one of the other things I was going to say, when you said you had more on your list, was like, we were talking about how comfortable are you in your skin and as a being, right? Like, do you feel comfortable being you? Like, we all pick our noses. Can you pick your nose in front of your significant other and not worry about them like being, ew? We all pick our fucking noses, right? Can you fart in front of your person? Like, I try to make it audible as many times as possible. I'm like, come on, please make a sound, please make a sound. And when it doesn't, I'm disappointed.
That's how we know that he loves us, because he farts out loud all the time. But it's true. Or like, even when you just start dating, I know a lot of girls do this, because I did live with a Colombian dude, right? And, he would tell me when he was we're very young back in the day. I was 23. I think he was like 20. Whenever he'll bring a girl every once in a while, like sometimes some girls wear a lot of makeup. And it's like when they're makeupless, it's like, who are you? Right? Like, are you comfortable like showing your true colors? Right? Like on an inside and an outside level. Now, I don't think that our community is very big on makeup. which I kind of love. I think there's a time and a place for everything, but I think when you overdo it on your makeup, I'm like, are you trying to seek validation? But that is my own personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, also it's one of those things where like you're not being you, and it's for some kind of reason. Now, I don't want to get scolded for this, but like fake boobs, a ton of plastic surgery, and a shit ton of makeup, and a fake ass attitude, which I don't actually believe. I've never seen in our group like fake attitudes. I don't think it would I don't think it would survive. I think it's like it wouldn't survive. But and there are reasons for having some of these things done, absolutely 100%. But it always comes back to the intention. And more often than not, when you see a lot of plastic surgery, when you see massive fake tits, when you see a shit ton of makeup, it's to cover up something that you are insecure about. There are reasons for it. So if somebody has one of these, now there's not a reason for a shit ton of makeup unless you look like a fucking ogre, but you're still not being you. Yeah. There's an ogre out there for you. So when you take off your makeup and you're not who you were pretending to be, it's like, oh shit, who was I just with? You know, like, is that you or is that somebody else? So, you know, there are one-off reasons for having some of these things done. Of course, like if you get in a car accident and something happens with your face, yes, like plastic surgery may be necessary, you know, so I'm not putting it down.
We're not saying reconstructive, like if your boobs are too big and it causes back pain,
right.
You know, God forbid, like if you got in a fire, or like in Sarah Novick's case, you know, but like most people go into plastic surgery seeking validation, not having worked on themselves, and that is where the problem is.
Still not happy.
No, it's not going to solve your problem. If anything, it will magnify it.
I actually, we personally actually know somebody
I know who you're talking about,
who had breast implants, made them extremely sick to the point of passing out at work, extremely sick.
They would have died had they not gone to the ER.
They legit would have lost their life, did not have the finances or the insurance to take care of it, so they were saved by grace and had somebody pay their medical bills to have them removed, and they had the choice. Do you want some put back in or not? And guess what they did? They put that shit back in. Because it's an identity at this point. It's like, oh, I'm not me without these. That's because you don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah. And it's those same people. It's funny because that same person is always bouncing from one dude to the next.
Yeah. And being completely mistreated.
Yep.
Emotionally
and wondering
abused,
why.
Emotionally abused, but can't get away from it. Doesn't want to get away. Every time goes back to it.
Yep.
And that's why we're making this not comparison, but the connection between plastic surgery with intention to make you feel better about yourself from a superficial point of view or standard, and not being comfortable with who you are. I don't think that we have a lot of people like that in this community.
No.
It's just something to bring up that also makes sense.
But that is the importance of working on yourself. Nobody, right, is where they want to be in. And if you are where you want to be in, then, I mean, you know what? Great, good luck. I bet you that you're not happy, but truthfully, people who are on the right path will never be where they want to be. So, you just need to make sure to make yourself a priority and to always focus on improving yourself in one way or another. Because when you constantly improve yourself, whether it's with your fitness, whether it's with learning a new skill, whether it's, you know, like helping somebody else in need, you fall in love with yourself more and more, and you gain more self-confidence, and you gain more self-respect, and also humility. And something that's really important with relationships is putting yourself first, okay, but caring for somebody else.
Putting yourself first while at the same time having ownership for what you are not perfect at. Thank you for that input, Boogie.
How many people do you guys know who have gained weight because of relationships? The problem is
always
not,
in the beginning too.
the
Always.
problem is not the relationship. The problem is you. It's the fact that you went into the relationship not knowing how to take care of yourself, and the person that you got in a relationship with either has lower standards than you, is kind of a negative influence, or I don't know, but you know, it kind of blocked you from doing the right thing. And that is also why I knew that Erin was the right person for me, because you know what, taking care of myself, even at the beginning when meeting her, was so easy.
Yeah, because
so I never had to explain anything. I ended up breaking up with my ex-girlfriend before you because she made me feel guilty for taking care of myself, and I started becoming so resentful. Because I'm like, bitch, don't you make me feel bad for taking care of myself.
And it can be unintentional too. But if you feel guilty, you feel guilty. It doesn't matter if that's their intention. So they could say they're supportive, but then if you want to go, I was in a relationship like this as well before you, where if I wanted to go to the gym, it was like, why don't you want to spend time with me? You'd rather go to the gym than spend time with me. And it's like, they're not trying to make me feel guilty, I don't think, but it's like they don't respect that this is how I take care of me.
Yeah.
And that is important, just a little bit. So, you know, by the time we met, and I really truly believe, like, the universe wants us to be together. There's no doubt. Because by the time we met, if we had met even a couple months before, we probably wouldn't have worked. Because we have the same values. We're able to say no when something doesn't sit right with us. And we have a mutual respect in the fact that if something makes you better, then you need to do that, even if it means I don't get what I want right now. But if it makes you better, that makes us better. So please do what you have to do.
Yeah.
I respect that. Also, everybody's different. So the way that I operate is different than the way Sarit operates. So if I'm going to have slightly different needs than her. So the fact that I can trust and not feel bad about doing what I need to do, even if it's not the way that she does it. For a perfect example, and one of the reasons that I kind of felt guilty is because work, like we do very different things with our business, right? Sarit's very informational, if you haven't noticed, and she's very much the coach when it comes to nutrition and strategies for each individual person. I am very much fix your shit up here and let me speak some truth to you. And I do these kind of things on the computer, and whatever she makes, I make sure you get it. Right? And the way that we operate and how much tolerance we have for the grinding that we do is different. So there's some times where I feel like, shit, I need to take a step back. When she doesn't, I could very easily feel guilty for not doing work while she's doing work, because it could feel like, oh, it's imbalanced. But it's like, no, we operate differently. If you need to take time here, but I need to work, we both have to respect that. Because it's going to make you the best you that you can be, which makes us the best us that we can be. Right?
Also, when you have a certain level of appreciation about yourself, knowing how far you've come, what you're going to notice is that you will tolerate less bullshit. You will tolerate a lot less things. And here's the thing, you get what you tolerate. The more things you tolerate, the more bullshit you're gonna end up dealing with. But if you haven't earned, right, your growth or your self-development because it's scary or it's uncomfortable or because I don't have much time or whatever, then you're hindering yourself from living your best life because you're going to tolerate more bullshit. I want to add one last thing.
Somebody asked us to say something again. Maybe you can go back and rewind and watch this.
Also,
we have no idea what we say sometimes.
Also,
if you're not constantly working on yourself, and let's say you get, a criticism, and criticisms are amazing, right? Because it's feedback. It's an opportunity to grow, right? You take things personally. And when you take things personally, when things are just being told to you because it is what it is, then guess what? You're always going to be hurt. You're always going to blame other people.
Always a victim.
You're never going to take ownership. You're always going to be a victim and man.
So the more...
It's not freeing.
The other side, the less bullshit you tolerate, the more respect you have for somebody else who also doesn't tolerate a lot of bullshit. So I don't tolerate a lot of fakeness or bullshit or pretending or anything like that.
Or victim mindset or excuse making.
Yeah, it's either priority or it's not.
Yeah.
So, but at that point, I also have a lot of respect when she doesn't tolerate bullshit. So if she calls me out on something, I'm like, fuck, I would have done the same thing. Thank you. Right? And then that's where humility comes in. It's like, thank you, you're right. Like, shit, kind of hurts, it sucks to hear. But like, I appreciate that you told me that because that makes me better. So if you're in it to help also make the other person better, dang, that's a good relationship. And, we're always evolving as people. Mm-hmm. And when you come together with another person and you're both growing, you either grow together or you grow apart. Mm-hmm. One person either like doesn't grow and you do, which is apart. You grow in different directions or you grow together. Mm-hmm. Those are the three options. Or you don't grow and the other person does and you feel like, oh, why are you not like me anymore? You're not who you used to be. Like, I'm trying to evolve, bitch. Come with me or don't.
You either going to the top with me or you coming down, and this is what we tell you guys too, because guess what? We're in a relationship with you. We're giving you an opportunity to go to the top with us. You choose not to because you're making some kind of excuse. Fine.
That's
you can stay back.
No toleration for bullshit.
Amen to that. That does it for today. Okay, so just a couple housekeeping things. For one, you guys, you know how this rolls. We show up for you every single day. We're so committed for you and to your self-growth because we have a crazy mission. Okay, if you found any value from today's conversation, then do us a favor and share it. Share it. If you're watching this on Facebook, share it with your Facebook friends. If you're watching this on YouTube,
subscribe and share and hit the notification bell because you got to see when we post more shit.
Amen to that. And, if you're checking this out through our email, then, share it with somebody that you love and care about. If it's your significant other and you guys have a beautiful relationship because you're at a one, share it with them so you guys can, celebrate it together. If you know that somebody needs some constructive criticism, send it to them so that they can start kind of like understanding.
Let us hurt their feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Blame it on us. And if you're single and, you have like a bunch of single friends, then, share it with them so that they will be set up for success.
Yeah. I also have something I want to share with you guys. A conversation that Sarit and I were having about an hour and a half ago.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, so you guys have been screaming like, please, where can I buy stuff? Where can I need to improve you something? I want your shirt or your hat or your
merch.
Whatever. we have begun the consideration process.
No,
but really, we've started taking action. Really, it's the logistics of things and how much we've had going on. And honestly, it hasn't been a priority. Now that you guys are not a priority, but they're fucking shirts. And we understand that you guys want them, and that's cool. They are awesome. I love wearing them. But yes, we have started taking action steps. It would actually be good to know, not in the comments probably, because most likely these all get lost in translation, but to know, you know, what kind of thing. So we're gonna chat with Tammy, and we're gonna have her make a poll of a few different options to see like what has the most interest for you guys, because we're not just gonna make shit to make shit. We want it to be what you like. So we'll post a poll, and you guys can kind of vote on the things that, you know, realistically you would want to buy and represent. And honestly, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It means a lot to us that you want to represent who we are and our mission, and help spread the word. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Things have begun
Marinating.
rolling.
Marinating.
But give us a little bit of time, obviously, because these things don't happen overnight. We want it to be good for you, and good doesn't happen fast.
And also, it's not something that we can produce. So that's why it's going to take a little bit more time. If it means that we produce it, then it can happen in a week. Okay.
We do have some shirt ideas. Curtis the Tortoise is one of them.
Oh my God. Stop. Okay.
Say tortoise.
Tortoise.
Say it how you say it.
Tortoise.
It's going to be a poop emoji on the shell of a turtle.
With a rocket ship. Okay.
Tortoise.
But you guys remember that Fridays are interview days. Tomorrow is Friday, so we do have a live interview with an incredible human being.
Yeah.
Possibly the most athletic person I know. You're very athletic, but I mean, man.
No, she one-ups me.
This
for sure.
this is a 7 times CrossFit Games athlete,
5-ups
but her level of humility, and she's what we call an elite human.
She's constantly seeking growth for herself.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Physically.
She's so inspiring. She's so inspiring, and I recommend that each and every one of you guys definitely check out her interview. It's going to be a very different kind of interview, because she also harmonizes her lifestyle in a very special kind of way.
And she sells wine.
She owns a winery. She doesn't just sell wine.
She owns a wine company.
Yeah. So she is an incredible human with an amazing story, and you know, like,
she's about to get a lot of sales.
Probably. You know, her standards for her body and for her living are very high because of who she is and what she does. But you know, she is a living proof of, you know, yes, you can have it all. And this is something that we preach to you all the times. But of course, it's always nice to hear it from somebody different. And to be honest, like, our fitness level is nowhere as close to hers. Like, what she does is like insane, like top level shit. What is she like?
Someone's asking T. Claire. I'm guessing that's Tia Claire too.
No, it's Margot Alvarez.
It's Margot Alvarez. Boom! Who just said Emily? Bam.
Yeah.
Better be there, Emily.
Yeah, it's Margot Alvarez. If there is any CrossFitter Aussies in the house, I would love to get connected somehow.
Yeah,
with
hook
Tia
it up.
Claire. However, we need a little bit more connections in order to find
Eventually.
our way to that. But
We're too many steps away still from that one.
yeah. But tomorrow's conversation is going to be amazing. Remember that interview days start at 6 a.m.
Pacific time.
Okay, 6 a.m. Pacific time, and also they are on Zoom. The link for the interview will be posted this evening at 6 p.m. so that you guys can have a reminder. Okay, if you get our emails, and be sure you'll also get an email a couple minutes before we start, so you can just click the link. But if you know anybody, because you are in the fitness world and you know who Margot is, a lot of people know who she is.
She's just a wonderful human being.
Yeah, she's incredible. We're super honored to have her. You know, please share it with them, invite them to the group, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Bye.
Bye.